Hello, everybody. We are here in the communications space of GFA Masdar City. My name is Ms.Juliet. I am the deputy head of the primary school here, and I'm joined by three of our Year 6 students who are also part of our student leadership team. Recently, these three students had the experience of public speaking at an online conference on student leadership, and they're joining me today to reflect on their experience. Welcome. I have with me here Mustafa, Parth and Aroosh. So I will allow them to introduce themselves, and I'll start with you, Aroosh. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Aroosh. I am originally from Pakistan. I am 10 years old and my hobbies are art and badminton. The reason I like art is because you can just allow your creativity to flow and it's really nice.
Yeah, what kind of art do you like to do?
I like sketching. I made some recent sketches and they're one of my favorite pieces.
Very good. What do you like to sketch?
I like to sketch like scenery and humans.
Okay, like life
Yeah.
portrait and landscape. Wonderful. Great. And how about you, Parth? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Parth, and I'm from Year 6C. I love astronomy and badminton. I like astronomy because you can look into the stars, and there's always something new that you can discover. The constellations aren't the limit. You can go into black holes, solar systems, and life organisms. It's just so amazing.
It sounds like you have a real passion for astronomy. Do you have a telescope?
Well, I used to have one, but then we gave it to someone because we were moving somewhere else.
Okay, so you might have to get yourself another telescope so you can continue stargazing.
Yes.
Great. And Mustafa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Mustafa. I am from Year 6B. I am 10 years old and I love playing sports. Those are my hobbies. I really love playing football and basketball. Especially football because I won a trophy of the best player at my club called DSIT. It was so good.
Wonderful. What did you win the trophy for?
Best player.
Best player. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So you recently had an experience of public speaking. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
It was great. So we made a presentation. We linked the ideas of student leadership and sustainability and made that into a presentation. There were about 10 schools. They introduced their team and what they have done in their school. And we also introduced our school and what we did.
Wonderful. And you mentioned there that you prepared a presentation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that process, Mustafa?
So first we started to make ideas at the first week, okay? And then we got our mentors, and thanks to Anas and Shibanu, they helped us. So we made the presentation, then we practiced, and then we started speaking on it, and then the day of the presentation came and we did our things, and we did it perfect.
Well done. And I was there as well, and I listened, and I can vouch for that. It certainly was perfect. So when you were doing this, so it was an online conference, and as you mentioned, Aroosh, many other schools were attending and people were presenting their ideas. Student leadership, sustainability, that was the topic of your presentation. How did it feel representing your school online in front of an audience of hundreds, potentially thousands of online viewers and listeners?
So I felt a bit nervous and also excited. It was really an honor speaking for my school, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and there's also a lot we can take away from it.
And did you feel nervous, Parth?
Yes, I did a bit.
What did you feel nervous about?
Like if I mess up, then I felt a bit nervous about that.
And did you? Did you mess up?
No, I did not mess up.
Not at all. You were wonderful. Well done. How did you feel, Aroosh?
I also felt like anxious and nervous, but then in the end, it wasn't that bad. It was actually good.
How about you, Mustafa?
So at the start, I was actually kind of feeling nervous, but when we sat down and got into the Zoom meeting, I felt excited and happy to represent our school.
And so, coming into this event, we spoke a little earlier, and you were telling me about your previous experience of public speaking. You had an almost event one time, Parth, but I understand that none of the three of you had an experience of public speaking like this before. So this was new for you. So you've all spoken about the nerves and the anxiety. And what did you do to give yourself confidence or motivation heading into the event? How did you push yourself forward?
That it's okay to make mistakes, and there's no problem in making mistakes, and it's okay.
So I felt to make myself not nervous, I actually just stayed calm and know everything's gonna be fine. Even if one little mistake will be fine. Like everything's okay. You make mistakes. Everybody does.
So how I overcame my fear of that, I said to myself in my mind that it's okay. If you make a mistake, it's fine. And if you get over with this, it's fine. This is the best opportunity you had.
Well done, well done. And so, having gone through the process of working with your mentors and preparing the presentation and delivering it at the online conference, what are some of the things that you have learned about yourself during this process?
So some things I learned is that at the start I used to speak very fast and not pronounce the words properly. But then, with the help of Ms. Juliet and Mr. Taig, they helped me to go to 0.5 speed and pronounce my words a little more properly.
And why is that important, Mustafa?
So the viewers can understand what my point is.
What did you learn about yourself, Parth?
So I learned about myself that I can do anything if I put my head to it. If I don't put my head, then it's not going to work. But if I concentrate and keep the time, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be a positive result.
And Aroosh?
You can achieve any skill if you work hard.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you three are all part of our student leadership team. So just tell our listeners what your role is on our student leadership team. Mustafa?
So I am currently the house captain of honesty, and I love working with my peers.
So I'm Parth and the captain of the House of Respect. I signed up for this thinking that if I went through this and eventually got to the end, I'll have achieved something. I got to the end and I'm really happy about it now.
I am the captain of the House of Kindness. I applied for this because I wanted to make an impact to everyone's lives and make everyone feel safe in the school.
Wonderful. And what was the application process like, Aroosh? Can you talk us through that?
So first we had to write why we wanted to become the leader. I got through that successfully. Then we had 2 interviews and they asked us questions about why we want to be a leader and describe ourselves in 1 word. So then in the end, Mr. Tai told me that I got through all of that and I'm the leader, and I was like so happy. Yeah.
Very good. And how did you feel moving through that process? Mustafa, I'll start with you. So there's just something about even what we're doing now, we're podcasting or presenting online at a conference or putting yourself forward for an interview. There's just something quite special about putting your voice, your message out into the world. And it can make people feel nervous, but it is a wonderful skill to develop, not just to be able to speak in public, but to have that confidence in your own voice. So how did this feel for you right from the beginning of thinking I would like to apply for this role and writing your personal statement, moving through the interviews? Tell us about that experience, how it felt for you.
So for me, it felt like when the opportunity came out, I was excited, amazed that I can actually do this. Because in my old school, I did not get selected. Now in this school, in GEMS, I loved it. I wrote my thing confidently. I showed my dad. She was bursting with joy with it. And then I went to Mr. Taig. He interviewed me. And then at the end, I got selected. So I burst with joy. Same did my dad.
And did Mr. Taig ask you any difficult questions?
Yes, a lot.
What were some of the difficult questions you were asked?
So like, what would you use for Like, what would you do to help your peers understand their own ideas or express their opinions?
And how did you answer that in your interview?
I said, collaboration is the key.
Wise words. And Parth, share with us a little bit about your experience. So again, what inspired you to apply for the role, but also what were you feeling along the way, and what were you hoping to experience from the role, and have you enjoyed being in the role so far? Just talk us through your experience.
So first, when the opportunity came out to write letter and to apply for this, I got really excited and I went home, wrote that, but then I realized it was over 80 words while counting it. So I asked my mom for a little help in making the words go down a bit. It was exactly 80 words and I submitted it. And then I got to the interview process and I felt really great to be there. And in the interview process, it was good. I enjoyed it, and then after that, I was a bit anxious to see whether I would get through or not. Then we had to say one word about ourselves, and I said one word, which was integrity. Then the last part was if I got selected or not. I didn't know that because my mom had the email and she put it in another folder, and I couldn't see, which kept it a surprise for me. But then I learned that I was chosen because I was taking my brother to get his bottle back, and then Mr. Tai came up and he told me that I was chosen.
Oh, very good. So that's how you found out.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you mentioned there that you chose the word integrity to describe yourself. Why did you choose that word?
Because the way I think of integrity is it's one of every value: respect, kindness, honesty. So it's one of all those combined, and always standing up for yourself. So it's a bit of everything and something from itself too. That's why I chose it.
Wonderful. It sounds like you put a lot of thought into your application. So it's not surprising that you were a successful candidate. So I heard you mention in your presentation at the online conference, I heard you talk about participating in student leadership in order to develop the skills that might be useful or beneficial as the leaders and decision makers of the future. So far in your experience of student leadership, and I'll start with you, Aroosh, on this one, what has been the thing that you have enjoyed most about it, and have there been any challenges?
I enjoy helping people and working with other of the student leadership team to improve the school. There are some challenges to solve some problems, but I work my best. I try my best.
And so what are some of the problems or some of the issues that you're currently thinking about on the student leadership team?
Currently, I don't have any issues, but sometimes I do.
Okay, so when there's something to be discussed, it can be maybe difficult to get everybody's opinion, making sure everybody's opinion is heard and valued. Yeah. What can you do to make sure that everybody on the team feels listened to? Anyone?
So, if we want to express someone's opinion, or we want to give our own opinion, we could say that we could listen and they could listen to us while we're explaining, and then we could have turns to express our opinion. Now let's go back to Aroosh. What did you want to say?
Respecting that everyone has a different point of view and everyone has different opinions. So it's fine if someone has a different opinion, but just disagree respectfully.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in your role as student leaders and as members of Year 6, the most senior students in our primary school, we must understand that all of the other students in the school are looking up to you as role models. And they may be inspired by how you act, how you present yourself. How does it feel to be a role model for the school? Parth?
So, to be a role model for the school, it feels good to see others looking up to me to see what they should do and asking me if they have any queries or anything. It feels good. I feel like I'm heard, I'm I'm always good. I feel like they respect me, and I respect them a lot too.
And do you feel that it puts a responsibility on your shoulders?
Yeah, it does, but responsibilities are always there. It's fun to have responsibilities.
And how about you, Mustafa? How do you feel being a role model in the school?
So I feel amazed that everybody is looking up to me and thinking that I'm their role model. Like for me, Miss Albi is my role model, Mr. Tiger is my role model, and Miss Juliet's my role model. Like every teacher is my role model. But for me, like the students, they're my role model. I feel amazed by that.
That's fantastic. And how about you, Aroosh?
It feels great that everyone's looking up to me. I feel happy and it's awesome.
Do you think it influences any of the choices you make on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah?
It does.
In what way?
They make me believe in myself and make me,
Wonderful. Does that give you maybe more confidence?
yeah, it does.
Yeah, wonderful. And when we're deciding how to present ourselves in the world, it's nice to know that other people are looking to us for guidance and direction. Maybe not in words, but we can call it leading by example. And I think the three of you are wonderful examples of that. So we are coming towards the end of our broadcast today, but before we go, I would like to ask each one of you, as public speakers, as presenters, now as podcast participants, and as students and as leaders and as young people, if you had to share one piece of wisdom with our listeners today, what would it be?
So my piece of advice would be to believe and you will achieve. Like if you believe in something and you keep working and practicing for it, you will achieve it for sure. No matter if you give up, like don't give up. Just keep yourself focused and believe, and you can achieve. Thank you.
So there's something called attraction. If you believe, like Mustafa said, you will always achieve, and whatever you want will always come to you. And there always has to be a risk in something. If you don't take any risks, you're never going to get anywhere. The person who never makes any mistakes is the person who never does anything.
Just be yourself. Don't act like someone else because they are not you. Being yourself makes you unique and shows the person that you are.
Thank you all. I think not one of us could fail to be inspired by such words of wisdom, and it has truly been a pleasure working with the three of you over these past few weeks, preparing for your public speaking event and also for today's podcast. I also want to commend you on your sincerity and your qualities as leaders. I think you are wonderful role models for our school, and we're very pleased to have you with us and to have you sitting on the student leadership team. So that brings us to the end. We will leave you now with a final word from each of our student leaders, Mustafa, Parth, and Aroosh.
Thank you everybody for listening, and thank you Ms. Juliet for hosting us today. Today was great.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And again, thank you, Ms. Juliet, for hosting us.
Thank you so much to listening to our podcast, and thank you for hosting us, Ms. Juliet.